I am absolutely honored to be given 5 minutes to give a major shout out to my friends and colleagues in the government web manager community, many who are in the audience and in the hallway. Let me tell you an amazing success story about togetherness. When Hurricane Katrina struck, many of our individual agencies went into panic mode. What content can we put up on the web? Let's throw up everything we can think of to support the relief effort. Never mind, it doesn't make any sense for 6 agencies to post information about mold when people are still trying to find their loved ones. But then an amazing thing happened, something that couldn't have happened 2 years before. The web content managers from Homeland Security and EPA and USA.gov and CDC and FEMA and Coast Guard and multiple other agencies got on the phone and said, let's stop this madness and get organized. Let's consolidate our information, put it into categories that make sense to the average citizen, and all agree to use the same terms and do it in the same way on our websites. Everyone checked their organizational egos at the door and proceeded to make the web response to Katrina as unified and as simple for citizens as possible. Why could this happen then and not before? Because of the infrastructure and collaboration of the web content manager community, a community that started as a grassroots effort of a couple dozen people that's now over 1,600 members today. A community that has embraced the fact that we all serve the public better if we serve together. What makes the web manager community so successful? Let's go back in time. In the early years of federal government websites, most of us were lonely pioneers. We were making it up as we went along in a new field, and each of us felt alone. No one else in our agency was doing what we did. So 9 years ago, Candy Harrison, then web content manager at HUD, tired of the isolation, decided to reach out and find the people who work on content and design on government websites. In October 2000, HUD called the first meeting of department web managers. 27 people attended that first meeting. They were so glad to have found each other and had so much to talk about. They decided to meet monthly and set up a listserv. Monthly meetings remained small those first few years, normally 15 to 20 people, and the listserv hovered around 150 people the first few years. Leadership was informal. Whoever called the meeting chaired the meeting and hosted it. That all changed at the end of 2003 when the eGov Act called for OMB to establish an interagency committee on government information. OMB used the web manager community to recommend policies for federal websites. We set up a formal mechanism to vet ideas and recommendations for federal web policy. More and more web managers joined the listserv to be part of the conversation. OMB came out with guidelines for federal public websites and pointed to webcontent.gov for continuing guidance. The community expanded dramatically over the last year after the transition team and the new Obama administration noticed the community and especially some of their white papers. One called Putting Citizens First, Transforming Government Online, and another called Barriers and Solution to Government Using New Media. Today, the web manager listserv is over 1,600 web managers from federal, state, and local government, and our monthly meetings are now conference calls and webinars that draw close to 200 people each month. The larger group is led by the Federal Web Managers Council, which is the top web manager from every cabinet-level agency and independent agencies, as well as the political new media directors from those agencies. Sheila Campbell from GSA, who's here today, and Rachel Flagg from HUD co-chair that council. Collaborating across organizational boundaries has shown huge successes beyond collaborating in times of emergency, such as after hurricanes. The government web managers are a community working together. Even as diverse as we are at all levels of government, we have established ways we can reach out to each other, get the word out, train, and provide support and service. And we are using new media tools to teach each other about new media. We share best practices, we identify islands of excellence, then collaborate and share knowledge to make those islands of excellence the norm. We train each other. We negotiate and share terms of service with new media providers that overcome legal barriers to government using Web 2.0 tools. We do everything we can to apply more broadly the lessons learned from the early innovators who have used Gov 2.0 to achieve mission-related outcomes. How can everyone in this room make use of this knowledge? Start at webcontent.gov and find the things that the web managers share with each other and that they also share with you. You can find requirements and best practices of federal websites. You can find the latest terms of service agreements with new media providers. You can find training opportunities through Web Manager University, where we have trained over 7,000 people in web best practices. You can look at the calendar of new media talks to learn more about Web 2.0 tools. And you can join the forum networking site to meet the 1,600 web managers. Not just web managers, but government itself is at the cusp of the Gov 2.0 innovation and experimentation that was unimaginable when we began 9 years ago. But we still have a long way to go. The responsibility for and the ability to speed the transformation is each of us in this room and together as a broader community, where we are much stronger than each person or each agency working alone. Not just web managers, but web managers in the IT community, the legal community, the records managers, the privacy and security communities, and especially the program managers and our external partners in the private, nonprofit, and open source communities. Together, we can expand what works, we can invest in promising practices, and we can boldly innovate together. So join the web manager community, and let's boldly move forward. We serve the public best if we serve together. Thank you.